Welcome to the pod.
Cast. The podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah. Can't believe that name wasn't taken yet. That's
Dude,
interesting.
the podcast has arrived. We are here. We're good for your ear. Good for your bod. It's the pod. All right. Anyway. All right. So I had to get one rhyme in. I'm so excited. I'm Will Cates. This is Austin Bagley. All right. And we are here to talk to y'all about whatever we want.
Yeah, literally.
Whatever we
want. Yeah. We were trying to figure out, like, are we going to have a topic or not?
The topic is going to be what you're listening to.
Yeah. Whatever we tell you.
Whatever we tell you. Dude, I mean, I've played around with podcasts in the past. I had one called Clink and Ice, and that made me fall in love with it. And then on one of my final episodes, I came here and did the pod with episode with Austin. And doing it in person, which was first for me, was just like a game changer. Yeah, because talking to someone on the phone versus in person, you're just going to lose a lot of that quick response. And also, we got video now, man.
Yes, we do have video. I come pre-equipped with a space for podcasting and cameras and lights, and you did bring your own mic.
Yes,
so you got
this thing's got me through a lot.
You did contribute something.
Yeah. I just touched it. It's probably gonna be some weird noise in there.
It'll be all right. It can't be any weirder than our soothing vocal tones.
That's true.
So
or my coughs, which
sneak
their way in. I'm asthmatic.
Are you
to
really?
A fault. What does to a fault mean? I don't even know what that means.
Like it is. Do you want an actual definition? Or you just ask
I really want to know what it is.
To a fault would mean like to your detriment.
Oh, so then that's correct way to use it.
Literally,
because
it's a fault.
Yeah, because no one wants to listen to much of God.
No, absolutely not. Like for me, it's like we were talking about this just a few minutes before we started the podcast. One of my super guilty pleasure YouTube channels is a food channel called Dancing Bacons, DANCING BACONS, no spaces. Check him out. It's a dude who lives out in Singapore.
But you said he doesn't talk, which I think is cool.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't say a word. Since it is a Asian country, he eats very loudly, and that is a custom.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a custom, and if I remember correctly, I learned this from a History Channel documentary on making Japanese noodles.
Oh,
and it is
sweet.
a compliment to the chef if you slurp your noodles loudly, because what it indicates is that it's so good you want to eat it faster.
Oh, that's cool.
So, don't quote me on it, but if it's wrong, then History Channel.
Hey, I mean, if he's doing his thing and occupied, but here's slurping around him, he's like, I'm doing all right, man.
But that's one of the things. Like the guy in these videos does not talk at all, period.
Which is rare, I feel like, with these.
He does have subtitles because he's like describing how these foods taste. And being in Singapore, there's foods from China, Korea, Japan, Singapore, India. They're all the surrounding countries around Singapore. And it's super interesting to one, see them. Like I know more. I won't say more. I know a lot about Southeastern Asia's cuisine now because of this channel, and I've probably been watching it for about a year or so.
Dude.
And
so he's been at it for a while.
He's been at it for a very long time.
He's making that bank.
He's per video. I think he puts out like 1 or 2 videos a week, maybe 3. And he's getting between like 200 and 1 million views, depending on the content of the video. And it's interesting seeing the food because it looks really good. It looks really super good.
Asian food's like becoming my favorite. I just started with Thai food. And
dude. Thai food.
This Thai sticky rice in town.
Yes, Thai sticky rice, bro.
Here, I got a quick story though. First time I had Thai sticky rice, Jen, my awesome girlfriend, she was like, "We're gonna get Thai tonight." Her and her family, and I was like, "Oh, cool," because it was like my second time eating it, and I said, she was like, "Yeah, what do you want to eat?" It's Thai sticky rice, and that's the name of the restaurant. That's what she said.
Right.
And so she was like, yeah, what do you want? It's Thai sticky rice. I was like, yeah, that sounds perfect. I'll get that too. And she's like, no, that's the name of the restaurant. I was like, oh, okay. But if they got sticky rice, I mean, that sounds pretty good.
I went there with my wife and I went there with some friends of ours, Tommy and Jenna.
It's nice in there too.
It's super nice. And Tommy did something that Tommy is a veteran. I'm a veteran, and he went to Afghanistan. I went to Iraq, but there are some customs that are similar. And one of those customs is like the communal sharing of food, communal sharing and eating of food.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went there, I'd never been there before. I'd had Thai before, but I think like once or twice. And he was like, okay, so when you order something, order whatever you want, because I'm buying. But whatever you order, we're all gonna share together at the table. I'm like, dude, my dude, like it's so strange.
They eat the same thing.
Yeah,
everybody.
Like we just pick off each other's plates.
Yeah.
This is like post-COVID. It's like 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, Tommy and Jen are a family. We don't care.
Yeah.
We love them. They are part of our tribe. But it was like it took me back to that feeling of camaraderie and brotherhood when I was deployed.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting around a table. You're all eating
That's
off
what
each
it's all
other's
about.
plates. You're joking around. It was great. It was a great experience.
See, now now you say eating off each other's plates though. Are we talking hands?
No.
Okay.
Food, so
I got you.
It's like
Thai food.
Even still, like you're eating off the fork and then reaching over and go, hey, let me get some of that curry, or let me get some of the pad thai or whatever.
What was it? What is it? I saw a movie once with Ben Stiller. They were eating with their hands, and he had never done it before, and I'm trying to think of what culture is mostly the hands. No, it was that older one. Along Came Polly.
Along Came Polly.
That's the one. And she's like, you like spicy food, right? And he's like, yeah. And it's like this really spicy place. And I was wondering, I mean, I feel like I could get down with that. That wouldn't bother me. I would totally eat with my hands.
I would love to go to Japan just for the food.
Oh
my
God,
just for the food. Like,
yeah.
Never mind the culture and the history and stuff like that. Like I grew up on anime, as a kid, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, and
so good.
I can't remember the first anime I ever saw, and I promise this is not going to turn into an anime podcast. Period. I'm just reminiscing here, but anyway, Japan is super fascinating to me. There's a great show on HBO Max called Tokyo Vice.
Yeah, you told me about this one.
Past, just personal conversation, but
it's got like 2 seasons, I think.
I think it's got 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So we were sharing HBO Max with another family, and they forgot the password, and so did we. So I haven't been able to finish the.
You don't have HBO Max right now? Now you do, because
dude.
I'm gonna give you mine.
Bro, let's go. I'm dead. I'm gonna hit it. I promise. But it's a great show because it really showed like. It's about an American college student, or he's just out of college. He wants to be a reporter in Tokyo or in Japan, and it shows like the blatant racism that's shown towards white people from the Japanese. It's like they call him. They have a specific nickname for him because he's so tall.
Yeah,
like
I think I know the actor.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can see the actor's face.
Man, he's one of those young guys that does a lot, but you never know his name. But anyway, it's a great show.
Yeah.
It really just it's super interesting. I think it's set in like the 90s or something like that.
The visual style, art style is cool, right?
It's very good. It's super good.
There's a lot of anime coming out too on like Netflix, and people are saying it's really good. And I'm
Baki.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah. And then there was I don't know if it was Demon Slayer or something. I can't remember.
Dude, Demon Slayer is very good. I like the art style in it. It's
cool.
super good. It's a good story too. I mean, it's like it's not anything groundbreaking or revolutionary when it comes to storytelling.
But it's like what works.
It's very good. Yeah, it's super good.
Gosh,
so we were going to start recording earlier, but you got here a little late.
Yeah,
So
and I was
subconscious.
I was what do you call it? I was. It's not subconscious. I was.
You did this during
subconscious.
The
Hold on, no, I was like, not suspicious.
You're
self-conscious.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, you're mid thought, and you're just like, what am I thinking of? I'm like, I don't know.
You know.
I don't have any idea.
I'm like, somebody help. I was self-conscious. What did I say at first? Subconscious. Yes.
You got it right the first time.
Yes.
Just trust yourself.
Yeah, I do. I was worried about my shirt.
Okay.
So that's why I'm calling attention to it right now.
Okay, good. Get it out of the way.
But I went to Witch to get a sandwich.
Great show. Great sandwich shop.
And it was my second time going there. And I was like, I got time. I'll quickly grab a Sammy Sosa. And I went in there and I got a Buffalo.
Sorry. Grab a what?
Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa?
Yeah.
Is that what you call sandwiches?
And there's several names. I mean, you can toss them around. I got more.
I'm just kidding. I like how you just so casually sipped it into like grab Sammy Sosa. Like, is that like a sandwich there? Or is that...
Yeah, he's the mascot for Switch.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's
great.
Buffalo chicken sandwich.
Very good choice.
So good.
All about it.
I knew it'd be saucy, but I got in the car and I opened it up. And it's pretty big,
sure.
And it feels solid. You know what I mean? And because it feels solid, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna drive with this thing easy.
Yeah.
So I'm in the car. I unwrap it, and it falls in half. They slice it down the middle, and I didn't know that. So it falls on my.
You've never been to a sandwich shop ever,
dude.
Even Subway does that.
I know. I was like, and I think I even to myself like, what the like? I thought it was weird. Like, oh, cool, cut my sandwich in half. Anyway, it hits my shirt and get Buffalo all over.
Can't even tell.
Cool.
Like you've pointed it out to me twice now, and I think
you have to look for it.
Is it just to the
yeah?
Now but it's super. You can't even tell, dude. You can't even tell.
Like it was a cool pod, but I stared at his shirt the whole damn time.
And you left your phone at home too.
Yeah. So that it comes in waves, like we talked about. So I left my phone at home. Because I went there after work, changed shirts into a shirt I wanted to wear, and then spilled some on it. But I peeled off without the phone, and I just also just yeeted by your house, just kept on going. Like the road, it's already dark, so it's tough to see.
Very dark, yeah.
But I was like, this ain't right. I was on that road with nothing going, no streets, so I did a U-turn in the middle of the highway. So.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Going up that road, it is a 2-lane road, and it's just lined with very tall pine trees, and it's
those
very
unnerve
dark.
Me. Those roads, there's a lot in this county, and they weird me out. I found one once, bro, and it was I can't remember where it is. It's like if you're going towards like Newport, like leaving town. There's one where I turned onto it, and it was a rock one. And I just kept going on it, and it was straight. And I was like, I'm going to just see how far it goes. So I cut the music on, and I'm just driving. I had nothing to do this day, clearly. I just was like a burning gas. So I was driving deep into this wilderness on this rock road. It goes on and on and on. And eventually, I'm just like sketched out by how long it is. And I turn around and leave. But I did stop, and I peed and enjoyed the nature.
Nice.
And,
that was that's so I
can't do it though.
I've run into situations like that before as a photographer, and it's
where they
like,
send you somewhere. That's
yeah. So one I did out. I don't want to get too specific around this area, but one was like super deep in the backwoods by an airport. And you'd think like, it's by an airport, so it shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be a drone shoot. And this was, I was probably like a little under a year into being a photographer. And I get out there, and there's like 3 or 4 dudes just standing at the end of this dirt road. And they're like really close, like way closer than they should be.
Standing
like,
close to each other?
Yeah, they're like right up on each other.
Are they facing the same direction?
No, they're facing each other.
Okay.
They're like huddled up.
Okay.
And like for me, it's like, this is probably a drug deal or something. You just get that bad.
There is a proximity where once you go past it,
you're either going to make out or you're passing something illicit.
Yeah. Dude.
So I went down. Actually, I almost forgot about this. I went out there twice. I actually went out there the day before to scout out the shoot.
Probably saw nobody.
Well, no.
Oh.
I didn't see anybody hanging out in front of the road. But as I'm going down, there's a house on the left, and there's like 3 or 4 sheriff's deputies' cars and an ambulance. And they're actually wheeling out on a gurney a body in a body bag.
Oh,
like straight up. And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, what?
Of all the times to roll up?
Yeah. So I rolled my window down, and a deputy walked over to me because obviously, it's a 1-lane dirt road. And he's like, what can I, he's like, can I help you with something? You good? I'm like, well, I'm a photographer. I've got to go scout this place back here. What's going on? Oh, just
people have died out here, man.
Somebody had passed away, and I'm like, but the way he said somebody had passed away, and I'm like, natural causes
Really?
pass away, or somebody like clack, clack,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the day before, and then I see these three dudes hold up the next day. But this dirt road goes in, it dead ends, and you have to turn around and come back out the same way. So I already know it's a dead end, but I see these three dudes just kind of like eyeballing me as I turn onto this road, and I'm like,
because you're an outsider, you're like, what's this guy
totally,
doing?
yeah, absolutely. So I go down to the end, I turn around, that way I'm facing the way that I come, and I do this. I didn't do this just because of where I was. I do this wherever I go, frankly, because when I'm done, I just want to bounce. I just want to put my gear in my truck, leave. And
because you also have cameras and
I've
people
got thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
so that's expensive. And I think about neighbors who see this guy with cameras, they're thinking, what's he doing out here with cameras?
Well, I typically wear, like, I've got my own like polo shirts that I got my logo on.
That's
so
good.
It's real
That's
I carry business cards. I've only had like one or two people ask me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's out of curiosity more than like, hey, what are you doing? They're like, hey, what are you up to?
I've had it a lot being like just a hobby photographer, just because like I'll just go places that I think are cool without a worry in the world and just literally snapping photos and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sketchy.
So I'm sitting there, I'm getting my drone prepped. I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my truck. I'm getting the drone prepped in the passenger seat. I look up, and two of the three guys are walking towards me, and I'm a ways down the road. I'm probably a good 150 yards away, so I've got some time. I've got some distance. And as they're walking towards me, one of them's on the my right hand side, their left hand side of the road, and the other one's on the right, and then kind of goes behind some trees, and I can't really see him. And I'm like, this is super sketch, man,
dude.
Like, $100 is not worth this.
No.
You know what I mean? So I ended up. I just
canceled it.
I just left. I just booked. So I called the realtor, and was like, hey, and I explained everything that was going on. I said, I do not feel safe out here. So I hate to cancel on you. I'm so sorry, but this isn't going to happen.
They gotta understand.
And it wasn't. And she was very understanding. Cool. But then also, this shoot wasn't going to be great because it was like the property itself was covered by trees. There was a dilapidated trailer on it. I was only going to be able to get top-down photos of this, and that was it. Yeah. And that's like 3 photos max. I'm paying you I'm charging you $100 for that. And it's because it's my time. Oh, yeah. I put my drone up and everything.
And your safety.
But, pretty much. But she asked me this question, and it was the most ridiculous question I've ever been asked. She goes, well, I've got another drone pilot, and for the people who aren't watching this or listening to the podcast, I'm white. And she goes, I've got another drone photographer. He's black. Do you think he could do it? And I said, what? What did you just ask me? She goes, well, I mean, maybe he'll be more comfortable. I said, I don't know. Maybe you should ask him. Like, I never heard from her again. Frankly, I'm not upset by that, but I was so taken aback. I was not expecting that. She goes, can I ask you a question? I'm like, sure. What's up? And we don't know each other. Like, it's the first time I've ever heard from this person. Like,
dude, there's some things that, like, the way she approached it. Can I ask you something?
It was like
no.
It was the most genuine. Yeah. No, idiot. No, it was the most genuine. I'm a very professional person.
For sure.
Especially when it comes to my business.
So right then you're probably comforted by the fact that, okay, I made the right decision. I'm not going to stress that I canceled on this.
I wasn't stressed at all. This is like, I think my wife and I were going on our first wedding anniversary, like the following week or maybe the next day even. We were going up to Virginia. So I was like, $100 isn't worth this. Like I'm just, and then after she asked me that question, I'm like, I made the right decision here.
Man, I've been in some scary situations out in the middle of nowhere because, like, growing up, even though I'm from blank, I don't know if we're gonna talk about where I'm from, but anyway, we're on the northern, like the more countryside of the town, and all of my buddies, not all of them, but most of them lived out even further in the country. So we spent our time riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers. And we would come across like old, like, dilapidated buildings. And of course, we just want to explore them and stuff. And, you're looking around with your friends and all of a sudden you hear noise and you freak out and run.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's funny because now I'm like kind of drawn to scary things.
Totally. Yeah.
It's just exciting to me.
Sure.
And I feel like one of my favorite memories like this was my buddy's neighborhood, Gage. Hopefully we can have him on as a guest because he's one of my oldest pals. He has this like castle that this dad built for his daughter at the very top of his neighborhood. It's sort of like this big hill. There's this like fairyland castle, like it looks like something straight out of a Disney movie.
Okay.
But he quit like halfway through building it because apparently like the daughter got sick or something. It's like this tragic story, and he just like the like daughter passed away, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so now it's got this spooky story of this house that was built as a gift for his daughter, and now it just sits halfway made.
Yeah.
So we used to go up there and just hang out and stuff and explore, but it's just like such a weird feeling to like be in those places that just sit idle all the time, and I kind of do. I kind of sometimes find myself like thinking about how like right now at this moment, there's just like all of those places out there that are just sitting quietly with no one around. It's kind of weird, right? Like I sometimes go on like this spiral in my head.
I do get existential like that sometimes. I mean, maybe not about that specifically things. Mm-hmm. I get existential about like history. So like, where I am physically at the moment. Mm-hmm. What's the historical? What's the story? Of this place before me, like who was walking around, what
it's
was
so fascinating
before I got here, one of the places I love hiking in North Carolina is Linville Gorge, and it's named for a gentleman and his son. Their last name is Linville, and they were on what's called a long hunt. A long hunt is a 6-month hunt that would happen back in the 1800s.
Whoa.
And it was for money. Like basically they would hire out natives or guides, and they would hunt with them for pelts and things like that, and come back and sell. Well,
it's like the start of Revenant.
It really is. It really is. So basically, what happened was at the Linville Falls, this man and his son and their guides were attacked and killed by some Native Americans on their way to attack a different tribe of Native Americans, and they didn't want Linville and his party to warn them.
Whoa.
So they murdered them, like in that gorge. And my wife and I hike out there all the time, and I think about that when I'm out there. It's like, did he die here? Did he die at that campsite I was just at? I mean, obviously not. I mean, I don't know if that campsite existed when he was here, but it's things like that. You know? Those are the kinds of things that I like to think about. The
stories that surround us in these places, and that reminds me of a story I read. Those like spooky Reddit stories.
Oh, sure, creepypastas.
Creepypastas.
Old internet.
I love reading them. And this was one where it wasn't even on Creepypastas subreddit. It was on like just the paranormal subreddit.
Yeah.
So pretty much everyone on their stories, they're claiming they're true completely. And you just have to take it with a grain of salt. But don't understand that expression. Taking it with a grain of salt. Don't get that. Anyway, so
I do know what it means, but I can't articulate it well enough.
Yeah.
Without sounding like a fool on our first episode of the podcast. So I don't want to do that.
You're right. I'll do it for you. I'll take
crisis averted.
Dude, and this lady said she was driving down back one of those backcountry roads like I was on tonight, and I just she it's one she takes every day though to get to her house. And this particular time, she said she rode down it and she noticed these people standing outside of houses that she normally saw were abandoned.
Okay.
And they were wearing period clothing. And every time she drove, and as she was driving by, they were all staring at her like she was in a spaceship.
Yeah.
And the way she tells the story is so good and creepy. And like, she basically felt like she entered some weird time warp thing and was seeing people from back in the old days. Sometimes when I'm driving, I just like imagine.
Let me interrupt you real quick. And the reason, let me ask you a question regarding ghosts.
Love them.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Okay.
But as a skeptic.
Yeah.
And not to say that you fully believe in ghosts or anything like that.
100%.
You do? Okay, cool. Why is it we only ever see or hear reports of ghosts from like the 1800s?
Yeah.
How come it's not like some
millennial teen just like talk like with his cell phone?
Like, even something recent or even something like much older? Why am I not hearing about like caveman ghosts?
Dude.
You know, like
it doesn't make just like in the middle of the night you just hear fire. Like, honey, we can't cut the stove on anymore.
So confused about our houses, they just don't come in. They're like, I don't know what that is, man. Like, I know I'm a ghost. I've been here for thousands of years, but I just don't get. No. I'm not gonna deal with it,
dude.
But that's like it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And same with well, no, you see some movies that tackle a recently deceased person as a ghost. But every story you hear, it's normally, I saw this woman in a period dress. And it's like, she's been ghosting a while, bro.
This ghost is getting around. Like, good Lord. We talking about creepy events. We when I was deployed to Iraq, we were I was a radio operator for the sniper section in my unit, which is super cool. Yeah, man, really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. We were laying out in an observation post one night. It was up on a berm, and I forget what exactly we were watching for, but we were there the entire night up until daylight, and it was super uncomfortable. It was super rocky, but you make do. It's your job.
You're laying down the whole time.
Yeah. We're laying prone the whole time. Like if you got to use the bathroom, like you got to pee or something, you just roll over. You roll away from whomever's next to you. Oh,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Do business and then you roll back, and that's it. Or you can low crawl. But anyway, it was super rocky, very uncomfortable. And come daylight, like nothing happened. It wasn't, not everything when you're deployed is super exciting. Most of it's actually pretty boring.
And I'm sure there's times you're hoping for that too.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Sun comes up. We are getting ready to leave to go to our pickup point to meet our trucks. And as we're kind of packing up, and we can kind of see in the early morning light, we're looking around like, this is a graveyard. Like, we've been laying, this is a giant hill on the edge of town. Like, it's a massive hill. Whoa. I mean, like 30, 40 feet high. It's really tall. And it's like, we've been laying on a burial mound this whole night.
Dude, that's like a movie scene where like the viewer get like comfortable with what's happening in the scene, and all of a sudden it does the zoom out, and you're like, oh snap!
Yeah, it's kind of like Behind Enemy Lines, where Owen Wilson
that movie.
Falls into the
and it zooms out, and it's the trench of all the open.
It wasn't that bad, but
that's
anytime something bad happened after that mission. We blamed it on the ghost because one of my sergeants peed on one. He said,
"Dude, oh man,
we don't know the accuracy."
Dude, right on a burial ground.
That's what we were blaming on every time. But it was we just didn't notice when we went in. We were so tunnel visioned on the mission itself. But anytime something weird happened, something broke or something went missing,
it's burial ground.
It was that ghost that. My sergeant tech.
It's similar to my dad when we went to Blackbeard's house. He peed on Blackbeard's lawn. I was like, Dad,
I like it.
Come on,
it's like a tourist attraction, and people are walking by like, look at that guy peeing in the grass. What's going on?
They were like, they told us on the ghost tour. They were like, so that tree, typically in the front yard, people see ropes often hanging from it. And Dad and we were like, oh wow, and then like later, that's my dad's peeing on that tree and like
they sound like
ghost ropes.
Can the internet? All right, we're getting silly here. Like, how can a rope be a ghost? Like,
bro.
Somebody needs to explain to me rope ghosts.
Rope ghosts. Dude.
Of all the ghosts to be afraid of, rope ghost is probably the worst because, like, I'm just imagining just like...
If you saw it skirting across the floor, dude. Totally.
Just hanging from a tree and you're walking by like so is it spectral? It just goes through you? Or is it like... Is it like...
Does it have form?
The movie Ghost, where it's like... make some pottery with me, like get up close and dude, it's not trying to choke me, it's just supposed to hug me around my neck,
bro. I'm telling you, we don't know, like there could be ghosts like in the well, here's the whole thing about ghosts, and that people bring it up like is if ghosts are real, really they would be around us all the time. like
Oh, sure.
constantly.
Yeah, why would there be a timer?
Yeah, like there would.
It's like the sun's up, no ghost.
Yeah, they're like, tomorrow I'm again. And then it's like, you know,
I've been here for 10 years and you have 2, but tomorrow's the night.
this guy stays up in games all night. I can't get any rest.
Yeah, he's got that screen on. I can't get close to him. Same thing with Poltergeist. It's like, why haunt me? Just kill me. Like,
Dude,
why drag it out?
it's wild. I actually, I have not. You're talking about the movie, right?
Sure, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually have yet to see the movie Poltergeist,
Really?
which is crazy for me because I watch all these scary movies.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know.
You need to see it. It's
I do.
Good. It's I
And
listened.
it's the guy from that Coach, right? The main guy, the dad's cool, the actor.
Oh, I haven't seen the movie in
Oh, okay.
like 20 years. Man. I did listen to a podcast about it recently though, like back in 2019, recent. And it was like all the backstage stories or behind the scenes stories
Things going
about
on.
it. Yeah. Like super creepy stuff. Like
Yo.
the child actress that was the main. Excuse me. That
Oh, I'm a
probably
cough.
sounds really
You
bad.
can
Yeah.
you can
Like
get a
I
burp
promise
out.
this is gonna morph into a very professional podcast. I didn't mean to burp just then. I'm sorry.
We'll have a special bit of all the noises.
We will. Yeah. It's gonna be
special
awful.
feature.
Anyway, there was a podcast I listened to. I want to say it was by Dan Carlin. And basically he just told behind the scenes or backstage stories. And at one point, the child actress who's the main character, she becomes possessed. She was strapped to a table or a bed or something, but was actually physically in pain. But everyone, including the director, thought she was acting.
Oh, that's
And
like
as
worst
she's
case.
Yeah, as she's like
scenario.
struggling against these restraints, she's actually physically in pain. But they're like, "Wow, she's acting really, really well right now." And then finally, they figured out that she was in immense pain. But it's fascinating stories
Bro.
behind the scenes. It's a very good movie. I
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
I mean,
Definitely a classic.
yeah. The older scary movies, I really lean into that and try to go and find them, and they're so good. Recently I rewatched Blair Witch Project, and it's still so scary because it's like, that's an example of like, less is more.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
just your imagination is so much scarier
Yeah.
than them showing you a witch come into the scene. So
Yeah.
like, that one's really good. I cannot imagine like being one of the people in theaters that thought this was like real, because that was
Like
their
found
whole
footage.
promotion campaign was like, this is real.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if you ever run into issues with the law,
yeah.
advertising something like that it is real or something.
I bet you,
wonder-
especially in those early days, they probably took some crap for sure. Like they probably, I don't know. Like, did Hollywood go like, you can't do
do they
this?
care?
Yeah.
Like, because I could imagine Hollywood caring because it drums up
Mhm.
attention for the movie.
Because then
But-
they kept doing it with
Right.
movies that weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I do remember hearing so. I haven't seen Blair Witch all the way through. I've only seen like the first part of it.
Oh man, it just
Um,
gets more and more suspenseful for sure.
I do remember hearing behind the scenes scuttlebutt that like the directors were constantly accosting the actors like out in the woods on purpose to
Making it rough
make
for
them
them.
scared. Yeah.
You can see that then because they're so frustrated with being out there. Like that's a lot of the movie. They
Oh.
get so like
I need to go back and watch it.
you gotta, dude, especially being an outdoorsman like
Oh,
yourself. They're just breaking every rule. They're just like, I think this way,
It's
and
the
they're
middle
just
of the night and they're navigating by
dude, and like they really just like when they arrive. What I love is you're with them the whole way,
Mhm.
and when they arrive, they park their car and they just wander into the woods.
Yeah,
And
it's no go.
there's the most haunting shot in the movie is really this scene where they're walking into the woods and the camera guy turns back and shows the car
Mhm.
as they're walking away, and just that shot, knowing they're never going to come back, like on rewatch, that scene's like even creepier because like they totally just walked into the woods excited without any regard of where they've been. You got to leave them breadcrumbs
something.
and know where you're going.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have a map, but like, I don't want to spoil anything, but
you're
it
good,
goes
you're
really
good.
bad.
It's fine. Like when it comes down to older movies, like these days, man, I don't have time for movies. I think that
It's tough compared to
my wife and I just recently watched I think it's from the 90s, The Addams Family, the first movie
Yo,
with
yes.
Christopher Lloyd in it. It's so good.
They cast that so well.
Here's my problem with that movie, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert. So Christopher Lloyd is Fester, but he's got amnesia.
Which explains his look and everything.
Yeah. So he's got hair, but he looks exactly like Fester, especially when they shave his head. Here's my problem. He doesn't. So he gets his amnesia cured by getting hit in the head with lightning. Okay, so
I haven't thought of this in a while. Yeah.
Here's my problem. He knew. So he actually had amnesia. His character did, and the whole movie he doesn't remember that he's Fester, but he knows. Like at one point they're seeing him off, like he's supposed to be leaving or something, and they have something called the babushka dance.
Babushka. It's so fun to say.
Yes, babushka. It is. And him and Gomez Adams, because they're brothers, sing the song together. Not only that, Gomez Adams is throwing knives at Fester, and he catches them all, including the one in his mouth, in a specific way, correctly.
Some things you don't lose.
But he couldn't remember a password from 3 scenes earlier to get into the vault, and Gomez is like, how could you not remember this password if you're Fester? And then somehow it's explained away. But it's like...
It's almost like Jason Bourne kicking butt and not remembering who he is.
No. Because Jason Bourne wasn't like...
God, I love those.
He was... It's
a little different.
That's true. Motor skills versus
that's true.
I know this dance and the words to this dance.
That's true. That's different.
How could you possibly... Well, what's great... I love this... I don't say love. I really liked the movie, especially because like... Whenever you open a book in this library, that's what comes out of the book. Like at one point, the Addams Family's lawyer is sunning himself because he's opened a book that's got like island in the name or something. And Fester picks up a book off the shelf that has the word hurricane in it, in the title. And when he opens it, a hurricane comes out. And that's what hits him in the head with lightning. Yeah. And he gets his memory back. And I'm like... Yeah, all right. Why not?
Oh my
It's a fun movie. But...
That is fun. It's like when in Harry Potter, he's in the restricted section of the library. He opens one of them, and it just like roars, and he like struggles to shut it. It's roaring at him.
Yeah, I like that.
I love stuff like that.
That kind of thought process.
It's really kind of quirky, and I love that. They're actually about. I've been trying to play some more games lately because I've always been a gamer, but that's also hard to do, finding time. But in about 2 or 3 weeks, they're releasing Hogwarts Legacy.
I've heard of it,
Yo, I'm so excited. You make your own wizard and just live at Hogwarts. That's going to be cool. It like takes place, I think, a good while before the Harry Potter.
I never got into Harry Potter. That was never something I was interested in as a kid. Like I remember it coming out when I was in middle or high school. I think it had to be middle school.
And for you were probably, because I was... With my age, I was basically growing up with the characters in the movies because I was like around 10 or 11 when the first movie, or like the age of them was similar to me, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, so I felt like I was growing up with them.
Yeah.
But for you were probably the first movie, because you're 29, you're 32, you're 36. You're 34.
36, bro.
I'm just throwing numbers
34,
out there.
yeah.
34.
Yeah.
I'm 29. Wait, 28. I'm going to be 29. Dude, I forget my age way too much. I'm not even 30 yet.
Dude, I do too.
It's crazy.
Well, people don't typically
How
ask
do
me
people
my age.
in their 80s not just be like...
They just don't.
But they remember, though.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're just reminded a lot.
That could be
Like getting out of the bed.
That could be it.
All the
like,
pains and
hey,
ailments.
take it easy. You're 80
Oh, yeah,
something.
I'm 80 something.
Yeah. But... Anyway.
I was never into Harry Potter. That was not like...
That's what Harry Potter is. You're either,
Well, I've seen all the movies, and they're entertaining. From what I understand, they're not like the books, but they're not as tied to the books as...
That's true. I only read 3 of the books. I just
haven't read any of them.
fell off. The first 3 I loved. My favorite movie, I think, is still the third one, the Azkaban one, because like they do that crazy time thing to like, because what's fun about rewatching it, any movie that messes with time like that is when I love that, like when they go back in time They see themselves doing different things and
Yeah.
they're hiding from themselves, trying not to be seen. But then when you rewatch the movie, it's fun to think, I wonder if I just could see them in the background if I look hard enough. I mean, you can't.
Oh,
But
that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So those scenes where they
Wow.
revisit,
Yeah.
upon rewatch, you find yourself looking at the
Looking
background,
forward.
and I kind of wish the director would have just let you see their leg.
Just something.
Something.
That would be
If
super
I
neat.
made that movie,
Yeah.
I would have just had one spot where like fans could be like, if you pause right here, you see
Yeah,
them
leg or
sneaking
something.
in the
I
background.
wonder if that would kind of give it away though. Like if you're watching it the first time, and
That's
let's say
true.
like they're walking down to Hagrid's house,
Mhm.
and they've got the wood.
I know
back
that
in the back.
scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say like you're watching that scene, and you do catch somebody's leg in the woods. You're like, what was that? Like, or does it completely take you out of the scene?
That's
itself?
true.
I don't know. It'd be interesting though.
Yeah.
On the element of time travel, I was thinking about this yesterday actually. About I used to write a lot of short stories, especially in high school. And for some reason, I was thinking about writing another one yesterday. I haven't written in years, but I was thinking to myself, what if I wrote a story about a younger guy who is super into the American Revolution, the history of it, and somehow gets teleported or transported back in time to the American Revolution. He's taking part in it, but he has to be careful to not overtly change anything.
Wow, that's cool.
That way it comes out the way it's supposed to come out.
Mhm.
And I was like, I mean, it's not an original story.
No,
or
but it's
anything,
cool
but
because
it's interesting,
Because the Revolutionary War, I don't know of more than maybe 2 movies that tackle it. There were some shows.
Oh, there's a bunch of shows, yeah.
But like movies, though, I mean, The Patriot.
Yeah.
And then, do you know of any others? Because I can't think of any. So having one that not only
yes, I do. There's one called The Crossing.
Crossing.
Which is,
I gotta look that up.
That is a phenomenal movie. It's got Jeff Daniels in it as General Washington.
I might have saw that because I
it's
have
very good.
really clear memories of a war movie with him as a general. I mean, I know he's done it before, but I might have seen
done
that.
a Civil War one as well.
That might have been the one I saw. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
I think it was like Gods and Generals, maybe. I don't remember. But he did The Crossing, which is very good one. The Patriot's a good one.
Yeah.
April Morning, which is a mini-series movie. That's a good one as well. It's about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. It's a historical fiction, but it's still very good. It's got Rip Torn in it.
Oh, man. I would love to watch these.
Oh, it's got Tommy Lee Jones as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a treasure that guy.
It's really good, yeah. Really good movie. Really good. It's a time period that I'm fascinated with just because I'm an American.
Yeah,
dude. It's our history, and it fascinates me.
It is interesting. I wanted to. I never really did. I like rented it or something as a kid, or possibly played my friend's copy. But the third Assassin's Creed game was took place in the Revolutionary War, and I really wish I would have played it. I should do that because I think they like remastered it. And
I went back and started playing Empire Total War,
which
has
an
American campaign where you fight the American Revolution and then the period just after it.
Oh,
and it's super fun. I just started playing it a couple days ago.
That sounds fascinating because we don't really. I don't hear much about right after.
Yeah, and
that's
you don't,
cool.
which is a super interesting period of time because there was a second rebellion right after called the Whiskey Rebellion.
What?
And General Washington, who was the president at the time, rode out at the head of the army to put it down himself.
What?
No fighting.
That's the movie we need, dude.
Yeah, right. No fighting came about from the Whiskey Rebellion.
Yeah.
In very, very short terms, it was a rebellion based around. So the country was brand new. Currency had not made it out of the cities very far. It didn't make it out into the rural areas. So the rural areas didn't have currency to trade with or pay taxes with.
Whoa.
And so what they did is they started trading whiskey for things, for services and food and whatever.
That's good currency.
It is. It's great currency. It's good choice. We're Americans. We love our whiskey. Anyway, what basically the government was like, well, we want our take. They're not paying us taxes. We want our take because as governments do. But basically, they were like, these were a bunch of Revolutionary War vets who remembered the tax on tea, which was there was a lot of lead up to the taxation without representation, which was the 3 penny tax on tea, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. But that's what everybody remembers. And these are a bunch of Revolutionary War veterans are like, hey, we just fought and beat the British because of the same reason.
Yep.
We're not afraid to fight you too. And finally, Washington rode out with the Continental Army.
Imagine with him in the lead. That's so cool.
That quelled a lot of nothing happened after that. They were like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like basically what happened, the only violence that occurred during the Whiskey Rebellion was the local populace against tax collectors specifically, because they were representatives of the government. And they would run them out of town. I don't think I remember anyone being killed or anything like that.
Man, but see, I did not know any of that, and that would be cool to watch, like whether a mini series or something.
If you've got HBO Max, John Adams, the HBO.
I was going to mention John
you need
Adams.
To watch it if you
Jen and I want to watch that.
Incredibly good.
Yeah, I did see the first episode where the massacre happens, and I was like, they shoot it well. Like,
yeah,
it's really cool.
It's not, if you're looking for an action-packed show, that's not what it is. It's
not
that at all. It's done so freaking well. It's a great show.
That's something I respect HBO about, when they're like, look, we have a good story. We're not trying to milk money out of it. We're trying to just tell it right, and they'll do just like 6 or 8 episodes.
Chernobyl was like that.
Yes, and that's so good. Critically acclaimed.
Yeah, I mean, you've got flops like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, which like if they just if the directors didn't get bored with it and just stayed the course, I mean, it'd still be on today. It'd probably be on for a solid like 20 seasons.
Dude, imagine.
Because of how long the story is. It's not even finished yet.
Yeah.
But, they
could have, man.
They just got bored. And funny enough, you don't hear anything about them anymore.
Nope.
But if they just stuck with it. But to your point, it's not just HBO. It's the directors as well. And the
You're so right. Because if it all starts with the writing and the people behind the camera. And like what's cool about, with Game of Thrones is like, when you have fans that are that loyal and love it so much, is like, you're not going to slip it by them. Like, they're not, fans aren't going to be like, you know what? Yeah, this checks the marks. There was a dragon. There was a battle.
There's a metal chair. Check. Swords. Check. Dead people. Check.
That's what the ending was like, and you can't do that. It was so. It's so wild, because House of the Dragon, I watched like 2 or 3 episodes and just quit.
Really?
I couldn't get into it. And I know it was new characters, which was probably part of it, because the cast was so good in the Game of Thrones, and you grow to love them. But House of Dragon, man, I just didn't care what was going on.
Did you not have any investment in the characters? Or?
No, not at all. And,
that's fair.
And people say like, "Oh man, if you would just watch like 2 more episodes,"
man.
And I'm like, I know why you say that, but
people say the same thing about anime, where it's like, "Oh, dude, if you just give it another
few more seasons,
another 4 episodes." Yeah. Naruto's like that. Yeah. Even Dragon Ball Z's like that. They get these long freaking filler episodes, bro, and I'm like, I can't take this, dude. And then I'm
gonna fight you in 3 more episodes.
Yeah, like in 5 minutes, the planet will explode, and then 30 episodes later, like we're still fighting on the same planet.
I'm like about to go to school, and I'm trying to see some action. Leave me hanging, man. But I loved it. I loved it.
Newer animes are better for that, though.
Yeah.
The pacing's good, better at least. The stories are good. I mean, I'm really not into media, like that kind of media these days. Like most of my attention is towards podcasts and YouTube.
Well, it's short enough that you can first off, with YouTube, you can pop it on, watch a few videos, and then get back to your whatever you're working on. And with podcasts, you can do it while working.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. And I think that's why I've been watching a lot of shows lately. I was hooked on Vikings. I loved it.
Great show.
Dude, I loved the ending too.
Yeah,
I thought the whole thing was good.
I was a little worried when they started focusing on his sons, on Ragnar's sons. And then after he died, I was like, because Travis Fimmel, who's the actor who plays Ragnar,
so charismatic,
incredibly charismatic, very talented in everything he's in.
So then every time he appears in those little, like, either ghostly visions or just hearing his voice, those moments after he dies are so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
So good.
But I think the kid who the guy who plays Bjorn, I think his name's Alexander Skarsgård, or
I thought he killed it.
Am I thinking of?
There's so many Skarsgårds.
There's like 3 or 4, and they're all related. But anyway, the actor who played Bjorn did a great job. And you're right, the ending is phenomenal. Dude, it's so good.
It's like they reached a point where they totally could have leaned into the whole, let's give it 3 or 4 more seasons of like that aren't as good. Like it could have went downhill, but instead they knew where to go. They knew where to go, and the whole like motivation of the sons to not only get revenge but also like find their own destiny. I thought it was handled well, and the music, dude, and just
So
like
good.
and the way it's shot, it's
The music
really
is good. Like I've got I have Spotify playlists of just that
soundtrack.
music.
Yes.
It's
It's the same guy that did the music all the way through.
yeah,
Trevor
I
something.
can't remember the name of his band.
Oh, he's got a band?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I
snap.
forget the name of it. I'll look it up later. But that and the music in the first season of The Witcher.
Yo.
I know The Witcher. I know the second season was awful. It was
That's
not
what I
good
heard,
at
man.
all. And Henry Cavill's left the show now,
I
which
watched-
I think is good. But
Yeah, I watched some of the second season, but I didn't finish it.
Henry Cavill carried that show.
I know. And he just has such a passion for the Witcher series.
Yeah, it breaks my heart to see him go, but I'm happy he did for his peace of mind.
Totally.
But the music,
And he's got a good season.
Season one's great. He's in the third season that's coming out.
Okay.
They've already shot the
snap.
third season,
Okay.
and he's in that.
Okay.
But he carried that show.
And the
like,
music,
full
you're right,
stop.
was so good.
Yeah, the first one, yeah, Call of the White Wolf is one of my favorite
Oh,
songs.
I forgot to tell you this. When I found it, I should have just texted you because I was geeking out. Apparently, they made a Polish Witcher movie in like the 90s.
It's the Witcher's from Poland.
Yeah, and I didn't know that they had like a whole movie though.
Yeah, it's from a series of books.
Dude, and I was like, I saw a clip of it, and it was a scene where Geralt is reuniting with Ciri for the first time, and I guess along or after a bunch of struggling and battles and stuff. But that scene where he sees her and they run to each other and they hug was like so emotional, and I was like, I want to watch the rest of this thing. Dude, see, like when I was younger, I wouldn't watch anything that was with subtitles foreign. Now I love it. Dude.
Yeah, I try to give it the time of day. It's really got to be done well though, and what I mean by that is not just the media itself, but like if it's going to be dubbed or even subbed, it's got to be good. And Netflix has got this. They've got some kind of like deal with like the Nordic countries for some reason. There's a lot of stuff coming out of like the northern countries of Europe. And the dubs are so bad.
I see a lot of funny memes and stuff about
like the voice actors and actresses. You are just there for the paycheck. Like there's no emotion.
They're checking boxes.
It really is, and it's not good at all. It's like you can very clearly see that the original actor on screen is giving it a great performance, but the person behind the mic is just.
Bro,
it's somebody they just pull off the street and like, hey, read this. Oh, you didn't read it angry enough. Yeah, that's
then
good.
it's overdone.
It's like,
bro,
oh man,
I typically avoid the dubs
so fast.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. There was another one I watched. Trying to remember it, but anyway, I typically lean towards I'll read subtitles. That doesn't bother me.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, because it's distracting.
Well, Dancing Bacons.
He's not even
his
talking.
Subtitles are so good. Like just reading him describe about food, like how it tastes, and like if it's savory or sweet or something like that. Like I just before you got here, I was watching one of his videos, and he was doing 10 different kinds of Japanese snacks.
Oh,
like,
their
okay,
snacks are probably
really good.
their packaging too.
Yeah. One of them was mayonnaise covered chips.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
right?
kind of interested though.
So he opens the container, and these they look like Ruffles, but they're super thick, like super thick.
So the mayonnaise is already on it, probably dried up.
It looks like icing. That's what it looks like.
I
So
don't
he
know.
breaks the chip. You see it's super thick and kind of puffy. You're like, oh, that looks good. I like that. I'd be interested. And you can hear him crunch on it, which gross. And then there's a description at the bottom. It says it's sweet like white chocolate, but has this sour, but it's also salty and sour like mayonnaise. It's also very pungent and strong. This is not for me. And I'm like, but the way you described
that was it. He tackled the smell.
You can see it. It looks like it looks like white chocolate on this chip. And the way he describes it, I'm like, that's exactly what mayonnaise tastes like. I get it.
Yeah, that's a great description.
But that's how all of his descriptions are.
Yeah, he tells you the senses, and he he doesn't drag it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like, if you're doing tastings or foodies and stuff, sometimes they want to sound like they have this.
They're trying to sound super smart.
Yeah. But if you and I sit down for a good meal, you're not going to hear me break into this long analysis. I'm
This
just
golden duck is savory and salty and good. It does leave a slight film in the mouth on the tongue. Like, I don't care, dude. Is it good? Like, I will say this, though. There's a lot of interesting restaurants in Singapore that I wish we had in the United States, namely something called a hot pot restaurant. I don't know if you know what a hot pot is. Okay. It's never something we're ever going to have in the United States because too many people would want to sue after going there because they're inevitably going to burn themselves. But basically, you've got this indentation in your table. Most of them are set up this way, and there's broth that is poured. You choose what kind of broth you want. You pour it into this container, and you cook your food in that.
That's cool. And so you're dropping things in it?
Yeah, like raw meat, raw fish, vegetables, whatever. And you cook it in there. And then whenever you want to eat it or you think it's done, you take it out and you eat it.
That's cool.
It's like, right? Like,
they would never do it here.
Super cool. No, because people are like, they would sue after the first day. Like, oh, I got the hot pot on my hand. I'm like, why are you putting your hand in there? I was grabbing my meat with my fingers, Like, oh, gosh. Like, I love my country, but then also my country's full of a lot of dumb people.
Dude, and it's like the scenarios, you're like, if it can happen, it will happen when it comes to when you're running a business or like a restaurant specifically.
Just
you got to be careful.
Business in general, man. Like you wouldn't think like I would run into issues as a photographer. You are dead wrong. Like the number of times where someone's like, it really hasn't happened that often now that I think about it. I really haven't had that many bad experiences. More or less, it's just people want their photos within a certain period of time. I deliver it on time or even early, but then they take their sweet time to pay me. That was something I was doing wrong early on in the beginning. Like, if somebody books a shoot with me, I'm sorry. I promise the future episodes of this isn't going to be coughing or me burping into the mic. I promise.
I was like, yeah, the cough's gone, and I sit down, and it's just like.
In Will's defense, he is getting over COVID. So that's true. That's most of us been there. Anyway. What I do now is I require payment up front or a retaining fee. Typically, that's smart. It's half the amount. And I learned. I've never not been paid, but I've had some realtors that are like 2 weeks out from when I shot it. They still haven't paid me, and I call them, and I'm like, "Hey,
you don't want to make that call.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't paid yet. Like,
see, I would struggle with that.
What do I need to pay you for? Like, are you kidding me? Like,
what?
That's why I prefer quality to quantity. I prefer to work with quality people versus as many people as possible.
Because earlier when I asked you, do you prefer this type of house or this type of house? You're like, I just prefer the good, not customers, but
the quality agents, the quality agents. Realtors, like the professionals, the ones that aren't just trying to make a buck. Like on social media, like I care about my clients and I'm on all of their Christmas lists and they love me, and I'm like. Then why can't you pay me
for real
for the work that I did for you 2 weeks ago? Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously.
Show me.
And
that
happens a lot. Like, I don't know what it is. Some people in their jobs, man, for some reason, they think they're celebrities. It's so weird.
Dude, especially now.
Some realtors, not all. Yeah. I've got, who you are. I've got some specific realtors that I love. I love you, and that's why I only work with you. But there's also some that for some reason, they think they're celebrities. It's so strange. It's so odd. It's like, okay, you're selling houses. That's a very expensive thing to sell. And I get it. To win to sell a house, I understand that. Why do you think that makes you a celebrity? You're not.
I've met some realtors and
yeah, me too. Quite a few.
Realtors.
Yeah, just a couple.
So I know what you're saying. I mean, most of them have been very nice, but it's almost there's been some where it's how they carry themselves. You can tell, and I know nowadays everyone can, feel like a celebrity if they're online enough. I mean, nowadays everyone wants the spotlight. Yeah. And you can get in this, and it's pretty, I hate to use the word toxic, but in a way, it's very poisonous to get in this mindset of like, I have fans everywhere of me, gosh. And that's what the world is now.
I saw a YouTube video where it was a commentary video where this guy was breaking down a video where this TikToker, she had something like 70,000 followers or something.
Ticking and talking.
She was cutting someone else in line at a restaurant, while like live streaming. I don't know if you can live stream on TikTok, but it looked like she was either making a TikTok or live streaming.
Yeah, they do a live
Okay.
thing.
Because she's got her phone out in front of her, and but she just straight up cuts this person line. This person's like, "Hey, excuse me, I was next," and she was like, "I have 70,000 followers," and I'm like,
I could just like.
You're not an adult. This is not how adults work. You may look like an adult. Your ID may say that you're an adult legally.
Yeah.
You are not an adult. You are what is wrong with this nation. Like
You may be something on your phone right now, but here
in the real world, like
you're
none
obnoxious.
of your followers can touch you or say anything to you or anything like that.
They won't even
I can
see
punch
them.
you in the face,
bro. Yeah. And those followers can just say, "Oh," they like,
or owned or no cap. I don't know.
Or
I don't know the lingo these
or
days.
Or buy her a coffee. I can't get over the like. So many people have they'll not even have a very big following.
Yeah.
And they have the thing where it's like, here's my Cash App, buy me a coffee, here's this.
Yeah.
Like,
here's
man,
my Cash App, here's my Patreon.
I'm not just gonna pay you to exist,
like,
man.
Why don't you just make content because you like it? It's fun.
Now if I have been a fan of someone's either products, whether they're artists or whatever, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this to support them.
Sure.
That's different.
Same.
But if you're just an influencer, you just are out here
there's a
posting. I don't want to give
you're
you
not
my
doing it
money.
because you love it. You're doing it because you want the money.
Yeah.
And those creators are very obvious. They're very plain to see.
It is.
There's a YouTuber named Taylor Brown, and he is who I learned real estate photography from.
That's so cool.
I learned it from watching his YouTube videos specifically.
People need to utilize YouTube, man.
Seriously, like stop going to college, watch YouTube.
It's like that movie Nightcrawler. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's a great
He's like, everything's online. I can find out anything I want. Yeah.
But I actually reached out to him. He sells Lightroom Classic. It's an editing program.
Oh yeah, I remember Lightroom.
And he sells presets specifically geared towards real estate.
Oh, that's tight.
And that helped me in the beginning when I was first starting out and didn't really know a whole lot about like
you needed something to just
and like where to start and white balancing it. Like I didn't know a thing about coloring or editing or anything like that. His presets helped me get a start.
That's so cool.
And I specifically used them because one, I could see his work. It looked very good. Obviously, he's making a living doing it. But he was super humble about it. He was like, "Hey, look, I've got this Etsy shop." Like in one of his videos, I've got this Etsy shop. I've got my presets there. If you want to use them, cool, they're there. If not, no problem. But if you need to ask me questions, YouTube or Instagram, ask me. And I've done that. I've reached out to him in the past. And it was actually, I had a question. I did a shoot last December or something like that over on Atlantic Beach. And I was being very self-conscious about one of the photos. So I sent it to him. I was like, maybe he'll give me some feedback. It'd be great. And I was like, hey, I was just reaching out. I love, I really appreciate your videos. I use your presets. They're great. I really appreciate you making those. I just had one question about this one picture. And I hate kind of being that guy, but I was that guy.
But to have him respond.
He responded.
So cool
and
of him.
He responded. Not only did he respond, he asked me what exactly I was thinking was wrong with the photo. And I told him, he goes, this photo looks great.
Oh, man.
It's fine.
I love that.
It looks great. Don't worry. It's totally fine. And I was like, well, that's validating.
To have this guy that like hooked you up
from,
that you learned from to reach out, because to respond to people online that's really cool, because especially when someone's blowing up on YouTube or wherever, Etsy, to actually take the time to respond is awesome. And those people are letting their service, their creations, that's what's doing the talking, not just them get this vain sort of look at me. It's like, look at what I take this, and if you like it, I'd appreciate.
Yeah, that's like it's very much like the Outdoor Gear Review, which is another YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube guys. I don't.
Hey,
I don't watch
they do
TV.
too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like and subscribe down
for
there.
real.
I
right
don't.
there.
Yeah, is it? I hope it's not, because
I think it's.
I don't remember where it is, but I'm going to cut to you immediately. Anyway, there's a channel called the Outdoor Gear Review. The guy's name is Luke.
Yeah.
And he's been doing YouTube for a solid 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube came out in 2006.
Whoa. YouTube came out in 2006?
Yeah.
I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, it came out in 2006.
That's wild.
That
makes sense because high school was like
YouTube. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was he's been doing it for a very, very long time consistently.
Yeah.
And you can tell like he doesn't take sponsorships. He gives open and honest reviews. He does some great camping videos if that's something you're into, like myself. It's just refreshing to watch because it's not about what anyone thinks or says or does or anything like that. It's just about him doing something he enjoys and filming it.
Yeah.
And that I have more respect and enjoyed that kind of work more than some kind of like overblown, overproduced anything.
Yeah.
Anything, really. So
keeping it genuine, man, with anything you do,
absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't get more genuine than what we're doing right now. I mean, we
literally came in. So first of all, I forgot we were going to podcast tonight. Until Will texted me at like 4. I also reached out to Will before he got here and was like, "Yeah, I don't have any topics for today." And frankly, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like I would much rather sit down and listen to just two dudes just chilling and talking and having a good time than like have bullet points of like.
Yeah, I've tried to listen to the focused topical. I could have used that word. Topical podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring my dictionary next time.
Bring your thesaurus.
Thesaurus.
Thesaurus
sounds like a cool dinosaur.
To get that word out. It does.
Thesaurus is a cool dinosaur.
Cool dinosaur.
Theosaurus.
The
Thesaurus. That's a children's book right there. Theo the Thesaurus. That dinosaur who walks around and
no one else take that idea. That's
check.
That's the podcast's idea.
He's fact checking everyone, and it's driving the other dinos
with
nuts.
A thesaurus.
With a thesaurus.
Yeah.
It's Theo. He's a thesaurus. Everyone is annoyed because he is like word dropping, and then at the end, everyone grows to love him, and they sit around and they learn together. There's a book right there. Like, hey, it's actually good to. I mean, if you're a publisher, please contact us.
Totally.
Or an author who wants to write it.
We haven't written anything yet, and we don't have any illustrations, but let us know.
Let the brainiacs do that. I would love to be an idea man to literally just get that's the end of your.
Oh man, okay.
That's got to be a thing. Like someone who's that good at ideas to where
that's an idea man is every get rich quick guide that's on social media. Period. Like
true.
Any of these like I can show you how to make $2,000 in passive income with a dropship store.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot
that's of that. What those are. They are not selling you the store because if they made that much money, they would be doing it. Why are they selling you a course and not doing that if it makes so much money? The course is what makes the money.
I see.
I've literally seen someone advertise a course on making internet courses to sell to people.
We can go deeper.
It was so meta. It blew my mind. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. What's even more sad, is that people are actually paying for it. And
full metamorphosis.
Well, you have to think, like, the people who are paying for this are more than likely in a super tight spot. They don't know what to do financially.
That's what I did in RuneScape. How to make money quick in RuneScape.
Buying girlfriend for GP.
Grand exchange. Flipping cowhides.
RuneScape was the best, bro.
Now tanning hides. Hides.
I never...
Tanning hides.
You did it in the flashing text. Yeah. The global chat.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, bro. I got
like a level 80 something just waiting for me.
I haven't played RuneScape since high school, so over 20 years.
And the old school RuneScape that we played is its own separate RuneScape, which I love. And get this, you can play it on your phone.
So a guy I work with, he still plays RuneScape.
Yeah.
And we talk about RuneScape constantly. And if you don't know what RuneScape is, it's a very early internet. Point and
click, sort of.
I learned about it in 2000.
I was probably in like 8th or 9th grade.
2003, 2004 is where I learned about it. And I started playing it. And basically, at that time, it was a 2D. They didn't even have 3D at the time.
Whoa.
Yet. I was still playing the 2D version. And it's a point and click. Like, you're not using the arrow keys to walk around. You click to where you want to go. It's a point and click
All mouse, really.
MMORPG. It all is, unless you're talking to somebody.
That's true, yeah.
A point and click MMORPG on the internet. It's
medieval,
free.
medieval
Time fantasy, goblins and ghosts and imps and demons and dragons.
And charm. It's got some charm.
It does.
Funny.
It has some really good early internet charm. It really did. But I remember playing the game so much that, going back to what we were talking about before, when I used to write stories, I actually used to write short stories set in RuneScape.
Bro, are you serious?
Yeah, it's super freaking funny.
I want to read that.
But yeah, they're long gone.
But still, that's super cool.
They were I would write stories of these massive battles that would occur outside of towns.
There's Zamorak. There's Saradomin.
So I was always sitting around Varrock and Falador.
Those are my favorite areas anyway.
This is
Falador's cool.
This is part of the podcast where we lose everybody.
Everyone is like,
but
what?
that's okay. That's okay. We're going to nerd
I just
out
hope they get on.
A little bit. Yeah. I would always write stories because Varrock is where the king lived.
Yes.
It was the biggest city at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Falador was just west.
It felt like the Richie Rich a little bit.
Falador?
Or
Varrock?
Falador felt to me like this old rich. It felt like sort of where you would find the knights, basically.
That's because you had the white knights and the black knights inhabiting that city.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories I would write where basically the NPC monsters would all band together into an army, and the players were trying to survive it. Have you ever heard of the anime called Dot Hack Sign?
No.
Okay, so have you heard of Sword Art Online? Because they're kind of the same thing.
Sword Art Online. Yes.
Kid trapped in a game. He's got to find his way out. It was kind of the same theme where the players couldn't leave the game until they won the war.
Bro.
And they were trying to link up between Falador and Varrock, but they couldn't because there was this massive army of monster NPCs in between them.
Bro.
And I had this fully fleshed out
so cool
story.
Yeah. We meet at Barbarian Village.
That was always the rally point for the enemy, for the monsters, though.
Yep.
That was because there's a bridge. There's a bridge in
great
that
rally
village,
point.
and they would take that bridge, and you had to get across that bridge. But you can't because they would destroy it.
And they can use the resources from that mine where I was always at.
It was. I'm done nerding out. I promise.
I really don't want to stop, but it's so good, and it's also one where
I love that it was free.
It was completely free. Still is free, but you can be a member to get.
There is a membership.
There's more armor options. Yes. You do reach a threshold where if you level up enough, all the cool stuff then is member access only, but in certain areas of the map. But last thing I'll say is it was a game that every time I went back to it, I'm hooked again. And I would spend maybe, it could just be a week, it could be upwards of a month or 2 months, but unless I force myself off, I am on it nonstop. And I am proud to have reached a milestone. I finally got full dragon.
Nice. Wow.
And when I got that, I was like, all right, I'm done now.
Yeah.
And then recently I got back on just to look at my character. That was me. And I didn't have it. And I think I must have died or hacked or something.
Got hacked.
And I was so crushed.
That's sad.
Yeah, so I was like, I cut it off. I was like, I can't go down this road. Because it's a time sink.
It is. It really is. So I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to be releasing them pretty regularly. So if you like it, let us know you liked it. Give us the thumbs up. Give us the like. Give us the comment. Just to appease the algorithm gods.
That's right.
And tune back in. We're just two dudes chilling.
Dude, we got a lot to talk about, and at the same time, we don't have anything to talk about.
Absolutely nothing to talk about. Yeah. Thanks for watching the podcast. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.
All right.